Learning, what exactly is it? Facilitators of learning, no doubt, have many ways to define it. In fact, there are literally thousands of resources that attempt to dissect its complex nature. To begin, let's take a look at two scholarly definitions of learning to set the stage for your exploration of the learning design process. First, let's consider how Danish scientist and professor of lifelong learning, Ed.D, defines learning in a broad sense as any process that in living organisms leads to permanent capacity change, and which is not solely due to biological maturation or aging. So what does this mean for you as an instructor? Let's consider how the term learning is generally applied in describing the learning process. According to Illerus, learning includes 1. Outcomes of an individual's learning process. 2. An individual's internal mental processes. And 3. The social process or interaction between an individual and a learning environment, which may include material or human resources. The big takeaway from Illerus' definition is that change is a very real part of learning. Change, as a result of any learning experience, occurs across a continuum, from the seemingly insignificant, such as having to apply an updated instruction to access an online app, to a major life transformation, for example, returning to college in midlife. Let's take a look at another definition of learning that also focuses on the notion of change. According to the authors of How Learning Works, learning is a process that leads to change, which occurs as a result of experience and increases the potential for improved performance and future learning. As facilitators in learning, it may be helpful to consider three components from the second definition that better illustrate what learning is. First, the authors argue that learning is a process, not a product, even though products such as assignments or tests are often used to determine if learning has taken place. Second, they maintain that learning has the potential to trigger change in four areas, including knowledge, beliefs, behaviors, and attitudes. Change that can reveal itself immediately or over time, and with short or long-term effects. Finally, they propose that learning is not an action that is done to a learner. Rather, learning is actually undertaken by an individual as a result of the continuous process of making meaning from experience. A number of other scholarly definitions of learning are included in your resources. You're encouraged to explore them and consider how they might inform your own definition of learning. While change is the constant element in how learning is typically defined, understanding the means of enacting change through the learning process has been the focus of scholars for centuries, with most of the current theories about learning emerging in the 20th and early 21st centuries.